Broadcasting from the heart of downtown Hollywood. This is SoFloRadio.com.
Welcome to Rick's Show on the radio, everybody. I got a couple of guys here. Doron Markowitz, how's it going?
Hi.
Michael Thomas from Rock the Cure. How's it going, everybody? You guys want to wave to your moms? They're back there. Hi, Mom. How's it going? So, welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks.
Yeah. It's been a year, Michael, since you and I have been on the show. As a matter of fact, I think this is my anniversary show, give or take a week or so. So welcome. You were here with my friend, Ricardo Bocanegra from the Black Bats.
Yep.
At your last Rock the Cure show.
They're playing this Rock for the Cure too.
Excellent.
Black Bats will be there.
Great. We'll talk about that and when that's going to be in a little bit here. But Doron Markowitz, welcome to the show, my friend. And
thanks for having me,
thank
Rick.
you for bringing all your beautiful guitars here. We're going to get around and show those. You've been... you make quite a variety of guitars, huh?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I'm pretty proud of that.
Yeah. So let's start talking with you about this guitar thing now.
Sure.
Doron, where are you from?
Originally, I was born in Israel.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
Came here when I was 2 years old, grew up in North Miami Beach, and pretty much stayed here most of my life, except for a 6-year stint where I lived in Miami Lakes.
And when did you get interested in music and guitars, and when did you figure out that, hey, I like fixing these things?
Well, I'd been into music most of my life since I was very young. I sang in the choir in Temple, and I sang in the school choir. And when I was in junior high school, I started playing the trumpet. And when I was 9, I actually started playing guitar left-handed. And I found a classical guitar that somebody had thrown in the trash, and I took it home and started playing. And when I was 14, I switched to righty.
Wow, that's unusual, isn't it?
Well, the reason I switched was simply I was 14, I go to Ace Music to buy an electric guitar. And I see a lefty Strat hanging on the wall, and I said, how much is that? And the guy said it was about $200 more than the same type right-handed. I said, why? He's like, because 1 in 10 guitar players is left-handed. So I just said, well, I'll just switch. So I did.
That's weird.
Yeah, so I was taking woodshop at that time so I could build my own guitar.
Oh, yeah?
And I built my first guitar in woodshop in 9th grade. And
wow, 9th grade.
I caught the bug from then, and I put myself into business, so to speak. I apprenticed under a couple of very prominent luthiers at the time. I was very fortunate to be able to find the right guys to take me under their wings for a good couple of years.
Down here?
Down here, yeah.
Who are they?
The first guy was Ralph, who used to be at Music Mechanics behind Ace Music, who's now at MAE. And then
I know Ralph. He's worked on my Moonbase a couple times.
Same one that I restored.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I apprenticed with him for a couple months. And then after him, I apprenticed under a guy named Keith Richardson for about 2 years until after that. He eventually moved up to like North Carolina or something. But that was long after I finished with him. But after those 2 years, I pretty much just struck out on my own. And I would buy, junked out guitars in pawn shops and whatever and restore them for myself, mainly because I couldn't afford to really buy, some hot new thing off the rack, but I could buy a $60 PVT 60 that needed work, and that's what I did. And I really cut my teeth on those, so to speak. And, pretty much every guitar that I owned from high school has been heavily modified and lent the way to a lot of the design aspects that I eventually came up with. And people have remarked about the kind of things that I build, whether it's a real guitar with wood or like a Millennium Falcon guitar or a cigar box guitar. I mean, I'll look at anything and go, I can make a guitar out of that. And people go, no way. And I go, yes way. And I have a Count Chocula cereal box guitar at home that I built once just on a whim because I always wanted to have one. And years ago, I was in Walmart and I saw the Halloween display and I said, now's the time.
Hey, Michael, you're right. I think our friend Ricardo Bocanegra from the Black Bats would like that Count Chocula.
I think he would probably make you an offer if he was here right now.
I'll build him one. That's not a problem.
Yeah. I think we got a picture of that, don't we, somewhere? Maybe young Anthony, did you send me a picture of the Count
I think
Chocula
I
guitar?
did. Yeah, I
Right.
think I did send you a
Maybe
picture
I'll have
of me
him take a
holding
look and see if he can
I call it
find
my
and
Count
put it
Rockula
back.
guitar.
Awesome.
Count Rockula, that's cool.
Yeah, I think I've seen the Millennium Falcon on Facebook too. I think I shared that picture of that
Yeah,
guitar.
this was the 6th one. I just finished the 7th one for a client in California. And prior to that one, I built a 5-string bass version for a client in Colorado. And I've got 2 clients in Scotland. One has a bass, the other one has a guitar. So I'm kind of like spread out all over the place, which is mind-boggling to me.
So
Because I'm just some guy from North Miami Beach, and I've got followers and friends and fans or whatever from all over the world. And
That's
God
cool.
bless social media.
Yeah,
you made
I
a
know.
Millennium Falcon guitar. What did you expect would happen?
Yeah.
Of course, everyone loves you.
I built it on a dare. The first one I built was on a dare. Somebody
Wow.
had posted a picture of one from the internet on my Facebook page one day and said, "Hey, do you think you can do one?" And I took that as a dare. I'm like the guy back in high school where if you dared him to do something stupid, he would do it. And
You're that guy, huh?
I'm that guy. So I built my first one, and I built it from a Millennium Falcon model kit that I got off eBay.
Mm-hmm.
And my friend Sebastian Kreese, who's a producer with BMI in California, saw it and says, "Oh, I got to have that guitar." I said, "Well, I can't sell you this one, but I can build you one that's better." So I built him the first real production one with a nice Light and Sound Edition 2004 Millennium Falcon ship. And his was the one that had the first approach to the space battle scene inlays on the headstock
Right.
and inlay on the fingerboard and the custom dressed up Jedi type knobs and whatever. So his was like the template for what would become my signature approach.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Now, I'm sure you must have thought of it already, but I would be contacting J.J. Abrams about this. He has a little movie coming up, and
yeah.
maybe he might want Chewbacca to play, That would be awesome. I think.
That would be kind of cool. Could you see it in the cantina with Saisu band?
Right. Besides the little guy playing the keyboards with his big fat fingers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So these are made out of models then?
This is actually, it's a toy ship.
Do you
Just
have
like
to
the ones-
build the model first and then?
No, it's actually a toy ship. The model
okay.
kit one that I built was the first and last one I ever built with a model kit. One thing about model kits is they are not good to use to build guitars. A lot of them, like the little panels that you glue on, they have little tiny tabs. Those are the only areas that contact. And one of them in the back on the bottom, the plate popped in one day, and there's no way to get inside because it's all bolted together. So I built it around with L brackets all around to be able to screw
Sure.
it together after I glued it. It was a nightmare. No, these are much easier to work with. And basically what I do is I just...
Let's bring this one over and take a look at your Millennium Falcon guitar here, because people might want to be able to see about that.
Wow.
Can you folks out there in TV land see this guitar here? Because it's pretty cool. I think they can.
Basically, the way that it's built is I build it the same way that I build cigar box guitars, where I take and I do a solid structural support all the way through the center, whether it's with oak or maple, right? This one was oak. And the neck and the bridge mount to that. But it doesn't really touch anywhere else other than the very ends and what's needed to bolt it solidly to the body. The rest of it is completely hollow. Because if I was to completely reinforce the whole thing, this thing would weigh like 30 pounds. Yeah. So, this one actually weighs 10 pounds because of this bridge. This is a whammy bridge called the Wonder Bar that was made in the 80s, and these actually weighed a full pound.
Wow.
So, and this was the first one that I did with the whammy bar bridge. This is kind of like my Mach 2 version, if you will. The neck sits out a little farther, so you get better upper fret access, and,
So it looks like the whammy bar is actually like a laser gun. Is that right? Yeah.
This is from a B-Wing fighter toy. And what I did was I cut the gun cannon from one of them, and then basically glued it around the actual whammy bar. That I also put a strip of heat shrink tubing so that I could then paint the whole thing to have the correct color. That way, it would look like the gun turret from the Falcon.
Awesome. So about these knobs, I know you got these really cool knobs too, with the Jedi things. How does that work? Where do you find something like that?
Well, no, I make them. What I do is I just get the regular speed knobs. I have a seller in England that I order these Star Wars lapel pins from that I use for a lot of the inlay work. This one I did all decals, but on most of them I do inlay work. And I also get these because they're the perfect size to use to cap the knobs. And basically I glue them on the top of the knob and scrape off the excess glue, and then instantly you've got Star Wars knobs.
That's awesome.
It's really that simple.
Now,
and of course, I also make a strap that matches with a patch on it.
That's perfect.
You know, and every guitar, every one of these that I build for a client comes with a strap, comes with a gig bag.
Now you got some stuff on the headstock here.
Yeah, this one, like I said, this one I did with decals because I wanted to get this one done quick and move on to the next because this one was for me. The ones that I make for my clients always have unique inlays on them to show the space battle scene. Whether it's the tie-tack type with the X-Wing fighter and so forth, or like the one that I just did for a client in California, I used a couple of micro machines to make it more three-dimensional. So there's this X-Wing fighter shooting a TIE fighter, and they're sticking out of the out of the headstock, and it's cool.
Yeah. So, you mind me asking, what does one of these things go for? Or what do you sell one of these things for?
I sell these for $1,000, and I actually split it up into 3 payments. The first payment is 40%, so I can order the materials and get started.
Sure.
Then 30% when I'm about midway through, and then at the end when it's ready to ship, the final 30% plus 35% for the gig bag and the actual insured shipping cost.
Wow.
And every single person that's ordered one has gone, okay. The person I just built the last one for, she made the first 2 payments immediately. So I had $700 right there just to get started. I was like, oh, okay, great.
So this is number 6. How many have you sold so far?
I've built 7 of these total, and I've built 4 basses.
Wow.
And the last bass I built was a 5-string version, so that was the first 5-string Falcon bass that I built. And this is my personal one. I love this one. This is just really cool.
That sounds pretty cool, man. Hey, you got a little amplifier. Let's hear what it sounds like for a couple seconds.
Sure.
What do you think?
Absolutely.
By the way, I brought my my moon bass. My moon bass is my new co-host to my show. It's also a custom guitar. And you actually worked on this guitar.
Yes, I did.
Okay, we're just a little bit out of tune. That's great. That's okay. I got a fretless bass, so I can compensate. Sort of.
Let's tune.
Okay,
Give me your A.
If you say so. Michael, tell us
These
about
strings are
rock.
old.
Yeah, so we have Rock for the Cure coming up
Yeah,
a week from Saturday. It's August 29th. It's Saturday night. Starts at 8 p.m. Goes till whenever it's done, like we usually do. Usually about 2, 3 in the morning. We have the Black Bats.
Yeah.
We have a band called China Doll. We have a young group called Blast. They're going to open the show. They're a group of kids. In fact, I was interviewed by Channel 10 News. So if anyone who caught the interview on Channel 10, the band that was playing, that's Blast. They're a group of young kids. Are very talented.
That's cool.
And they play around locally. And then do one. I have about 5 or 6 groups that are ready to go for it.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we're in. We want to do it.
Good.
And then we have a lot of vendors this time. We have about 5 or 6 vendors.
Now, you guys auction things away, prizes?
We don't
and
auction.
Like that?
We
No?
do raffles.
Raffles, that's what I mean.
Yeah, like I said, we've given away guitars. In fact, one time we gave away a Schecter guitar that was signed by everyone from the Warped Tour.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah, because a friend of mine, Richard Pierce, he's in a band called Rambler, and Schecter guitars. You know Rich?
Sure.
Everyone knows Rich. He's awesome.
Yeah.
He's sponsored by Schecter Guitars, so I usually get guitars through him.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, they're really awesome. The first guitar they gave me, they donated because it was a charity event. But what they do is they give me a discounted price on the guitars so that I can afford to get guitars. Sure. And it's usually the starter guitars that we get, and then we get them signed, and that's usually what makes them a little more valuable. Yeah. If we can't get them signed, it's just still a nice guitar. Yeah. In fact, one time they didn't have that guitar available. There was out of stock, and rather than say I'm sorry, we have to wait to get you the guitar, they said we're going to upgrade you to a Floyd Rose Schecter guitar, and it had like this like shimmery gold and like shimmer on it, and it was amazing. Right. Oh my gosh, it was so beautiful. We made a lot of money off that guitar, and that's the kind of people that Schecter. I mean, if they have someone in LA that they can get the guitar signed before they ship it out to us, they get it signed. Or if they're out, it was an $800 guitar we gave away. That's great. I'm looking forward to that show coming up. Yeah, here. Unfortunately, I don't have a guitar for this one. We just couldn't do it in time. But I'm probably going to do a show soon, and we'll get a guitar for that one. But all the vendors, they donate stuff. I have a friend who donates really cool things. Usually has like movie passes, gift baskets, all kinds of neat stuff. There's a lot of. In fact, there's a guy who makes custom soap. His name is Billy Joe Soper, and he's shipping me some soap. He moved away, but he's just shipping me soap. There's a lot of guys and a lot of organizations, musicians that want to help out with a nice, a good cause like that. Yeah. It's an amazing thing. Your band, you're in a band right now, aren't you, Mark? Mm-hmm. It's called
Killer Queen.
Killer Queen.
With a Q for killer, so it's 2 Qs. And we're a Queen tribute band.
Wow. Yeah. Do you play the Millennium Falcon guitar on that one?
I mainly play my Striped Pajamas Red Special. That's the love of my life.
That's the Brian May guitar. I want to hear that one too.
Yeah, that's going to be a treat.
All right, give me a couple of minutes on the guitar. I'll see if I can follow what you're doing.
Did I mention the engine noises work on this?
That's awesome.
That thing's got pretty good sustain for a plastic guitar.
Oh, it's got great sustain because it's hollow, hollow guitars sustain beautifully.
I see your the Red Special over there is a semi-hollow guitar, right?
Yes. In fact, I like to build as hollow as possible in general.
See, now I thought that the more solid a wood was, the more sustain you would get. Is that incorrect, or?
Well, it's not incorrect. It depends on the construction itself. Mm-hmm. Hollow instruments are going to resonate better because there's more vibration that occurs. Yep. But you can, look, a solid body Les Paul that weighs 8.5 to 10 pounds can sustain for days, because it's just a matter of the density as well.
Let's talk about that guitar over there. Can you bring that one over there? That really is beautiful. Now, that is the Brian May Special, right?
This is my Brian May style Red Special. This one is what I call my Striped Pajamas model.
Yeah.
I made it out of a number of strips of wood that I put together to have that contrasting light and dark striping pattern. And I even went to Walmart and bought a bag of shirt buttons to do the inlays, so that way it would look like it's got shirt buttons like on a set of pajamas.
Yeah.
I even did the shirt buttons on each side of the pickups because this looks like it's a pickguard, but it's not. That's actually a raised relief.
Uh-huh.
What I did was I mounted my pickguard jig on top of the body and routed the rest of the body down 1/8 of an inch. Oh. So that way it would give the illusion of having a pickguard that matches.
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
And you have The back is a Paduke with Sapelli in the middle, and then a Purple Heart control cavity cover.
Wow.
Even the fingerboard is actually the back of the neck. When I cut the back of the neck, the piece was long enough and thick enough to where I could plane it and have it be the right thickness for the fretboard. That way the whole thing has a consistent continuity all the way down.
Wow.
I love this guitar. I absolutely adore it.
That is beautiful. Now, you try to stick with the Brian May configuration, or?
Yeah. Well, my wiring is a bit of a modified version of his. Instead of the 3 sliders for on-off and 3 sliders for phasing, I actually simplified the wiring where I have, this is my main switch. It's the master switch that chooses between the neck and bridge pickups.
Yeah. Can you plug it in and demonstrate the sound while we're doing that?
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Absolutely.
Because I'm looking forward to hearing how that sounds.
Let me plug this in, and I'll clean it up.
By the way, you got to have some pretty good singers to be in a Queen tribute band.
Yes, and we're very fortunate that we have a singer by the name of Michael Borden, who's one of the closest approximations to Freddie Mercury that I've ever heard from a straight American guy.
That's saying a lot then.
Yeah, and we have our backup singer is Sandra Borden, who's got a phenomenal voice. And in fact, the band minus Michael is also doing a Fleetwood Mac tribute with her as the Stevie Nicks / Christine McVie part, and me doing the Lindsey Buckingham vocals and guitar. It's funny because I'm basically playing guitar in 2 tribute bands that have 2 of the tallest guitar players in the business, and I'm one of the shortest guys in Miami.
It's called diversity. It's popular
diversity
these days.
I'm just going to have to wear like 12-inch platforms or something.
I used to have some of those back in the 70s, by the way. Yep.
So right now we have it with the bridge and middle pickups on in series. If I flip this switch, it puts these 2, the neck and the middle, on in series in phase. If I flip this switch up, it knocks the neck pickup out of phase.
Oh, you get that crunchier thing, yeah.
More of a nasally tone. And then if I throw this switch up, this is the series parallel switch for the bridge pickup. So now these 2 are in parallel. You can't hear really much of a difference right now because it's a tiny amp.
Right, a little amp over there.
And then this switch is an on-off phase switch for the middle pickup. So I can get it in and out of phase.
Oh, that sounds cool.
And then this switch is the series parallel switch for the middle pickup. So now I have them both together in phase, in parallel.
Now, were you trying to go for the Brian May sound when you did that? Because he has a very liquid.
Well, his sound, the way his guitar is wired,
amplifiers as well too, right?
The way his guitar is wired, he has 3 on-off switches with all the pickups wired in series, and then 3 phase switches, so he can knock any one of the pickups in or out of phase against the others. So I already have that. Plus, by having the master switch where I can switch quickly between my neck and bridge settings, I can get a fatter lead tone or a more prickly out-of-phase tone. Like when I'm doing the solo for Bohemian Rhapsody, that solo is neck and middle out of phase.
Well, let's hear it. Yeah,
I mean, it's a very prickly tone. So,
but really loud and juiced up. It'll.
The thing is that when you're doing that, having 3 switches that you have to turn off one and turn on another in the thick of it is, for me, it's counterintuitive. I've never been able to do that. So I need something like that.
Yeah.
And then this last switch is the phase switch for the bridge pickup, so I can knock it out of phase.
What's your favorite Brian May guitar solo, by the way?
Oh, there.
And you play one every night or whenever you play.
That's my favorite Queen song is "I Want It All," because that solo right there rips. And that main lead, the main intro riff itself is just, it's sick, man. Adventure seeker.
I remember that.
I mean, it's sick. It's killer. And then the solo, I mean, first of all, it doubles the speed.
It's a nice sounding guitar.
Thanks. He's one of the most underappreciated, underrated guitar players out there. And it's funny because the guy plays with a coin. He plays with a sixpence, and I have sixpences at home that I ordered just to see what it was like, and I thought they were like the size of a quarter. They're the size of a dime.
Yeah.
So they're
tiny.
even harder to hold. And watching him manipulate the way he plays is just like mind-boggling. And that guitar that he built with his dad, from all accounts, it doesn't lend itself well to shred playing. It's got a big clubby neck and whatever, but
yeah,
he
he's
can
not
do
that
it.
kind of guitar player though. He's a composer.
Yeah, but
You
he
know?
can rip. I mean, if you ever listen to the solo from Innuendo, it's mind-blowing. But some of my, you were asking my favorite solo. That's tough to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
I love playing the one from Killer Queen. I love playing Bohemian Rhapsody. I love the one from I Want It All.
Now you make these for other people as well, right?
Sure,
I
if
mean,
somebody wants one, I'll build one for them. Do
you make ones like an exact copy of his?
Sure,
Red
I can make
Special?
an exact. I like being eclectic in a lot of my approaches, just to really personalize and make it one of a kind.
Mm-hmm.
That's why no two of my red specials look the same in terms of the materials used.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I've had people ask me before if I could do one with a blockboard body with oak and oak fingerboard on it. Yeah, absolutely. That's not a problem.
Well, let's talk about some of your other ones here,
Sure.
real quick if we can. I know you got the Millennium Falcon, and I've seen the Brian May specials. Mm-hmm. Some very interesting guitars.
This one is very special to me. This is actually this one is one of my personal favorite guitars because of what it represents to me. This is an extremely personal guitar because I built this back in January of 2014. My wife went into the hospital to have back surgery, and it was like her fifth one. And when she's in the hospital, one of the things that I have to do to keep my mind occupied is build. So I threw myself into the work. And the reason that it's also special is because the reason I started building this guitar was because a friend of mine, Alan Stewart, had given me some components in a bag that he had from Thanksgiving of 2013. And he's currently dying of cancer. So when I started building this, I used this pickup that he had given me, this roller bridge that he had given me, and a different set of tuners that looked just like these that were original 50s Gibson tuners. I've replaced them with these locking tuners, but they're the same style. Mm-hmm. So when I built this, I dedicated it to my wife. I put in the sound hole here, for my Dulce, and I had done inlays of like doggy faces and bones that I actually bought from Michael's. I love using stuff that are like buttons and whatever.
Sure.
And, it meant a lot to me because this was dedicated to her.
Right,
and in fact, on the back of the neck, I never tell anybody this.
Look.
On the back of the neck, I carved out a section that I flattened out.
Right.
And then grafted in a separate piece of Babinga because since she was having back surgery, so was it.
That's cool.
And
They got some signatures up there.
Yeah. And, so now this guitar means double as much because it's not only for her, but it's also
It's a beautiful piece
keeping
of
the
art.
memory of my friend Alan alive.
All right. Alan, yes. It's unfortunate that a lot of our friends are going through that. I don't know what it
Yeah.
is. Hate to bring up a sore subject, but there's like a whole bunch of friends of mine and musicians and family members that are...
Yeah, we just lost Dave Shelley.
Yeah, that's awful. Yeah, he was like one of the best, man.
He was Superman.
I'm definitely going to have tribute David Shelley show coming up pretty soon here.
That's cool.
He's a great guy. I know there's a couple of little get-togethers for him coming up soon, but we'll let everybody know about that as we know more. David Shelley, he's one of the best.
Yeah.
Yes, and now you also make some other kind of guitars here, a different, like a novelty type item.
I also,
Can't hear you, so.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I also build cigar box guitars, and even when it comes to cigar box guitars, I like to push the limit as to what can be done with them. This was a La Flor Dominicana cigar box guitar. This is the actual shape. It's a trapezoid shape.
Oh, it is shaped like that, huh?
And I painted it in this neon yellow, and then I decoupaged it with all these wacky pack stickers all the way around, and even on the headstock, and then clear coated it with clear poly. And I made a height adjustable clear pick guard out of acrylic. The bridge, it's cool because the bridge pickup is a pickup I cobbled together out of two good coils, one from a Seymour Duncan JB and a Gibson 500T. And this thing absolutely cooks. And this is a 70s Greco humbucker that I rewired 4-conductor lead for series parallel switching and potted. And this
you
guitar
got
is just
a bunch of
monster.
different hardware on there. You don't use the same hardware on anything, it looks like. You know, bridges.
It depends on what grabs my mood.
Sure.
You know, and this is also very light. And
I
it's
imagine
hollow,
so.
and
It's made out of cardboard, right?
no solid wood.
Oh, it is? That thing screams. Now that one's for sale as well, right?
This one's not. This is.
Okay.
I'll build an exact copy of one. In fact, I have another one of these La Flor Dominicana boxes at home, just waiting for whoever wants
I don't
it.
suppose it opens up anymore, does it?
No, doesn't
Oh, yeah,
open
okay.
up.
Pretty awesome.
Even the plates on the
Yeah.
back have wacky packs on them as well.
So where's your shop at?
It's in North Miami Beach, off of 176th Street and Northeast 15th Avenue.
So if one wanted to get a hold of you and saw your guitars here on Rick's Show on Radio and said, hey, man, I want to get one of them Millennium Falcon guitars or a Count Chocula guitar, how can we find you?
They could call me at 305-896-1811 to make an appointment to come by.
And they come by and take a look at your shop?
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely they can. And you want to see the bass?
Yeah,
I
I
want
see
you
you
to
got a
try the
bass, yeah.
bass.
All right, sure. So you make basses as well.
Oh, yes. This is my Beast 5-string. It's a neck-through-body 5-string bass. 8 pounds. I absolutely adore this bass.
That is a nice bass.
Oh, thank you.
Let's plug it in and see what
Plug
it sounds
in,
like.
see what it sounds like. Jack is right here.
Got it.
Simple volume and tone, and it always has a good tone to it.
Oh.
Yeah, it's loud.
Right. Wow. That's pretty cool, man. It sounds like an upright bass.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Well, the wooden bridge saddle helps that.
Definitely has a Sting vibe to it, you know?
You want to jam a little?
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Ready? like it, man. That sounds great.
Thanks, man.
Ah,
I think that
This
bass
one-
likes you.
yeah, I like it too. It's got a nice finish to it. I like how it feels. I mean, it's no moon bass, but no, I'm only kidding. So yeah, so
Yeah,
what?
when I did the finish on the body, all I did was Danish oil stain just to seal the wood.
Right.
I didn't want any clear coats on it because I wanted the whole thing to be able to breathe and resonate.
Yeah,
I
like
did a
that.
finish on the neck and the fingerboard, and that was it.
Now, what's the fingerboard made out of here on this
Maple.
one? Thought
and,
so.
And the strings are basically they're half rounds. I don't remember if I used the Rotosound ground wounds roller wounds, or if they're Diodarias.
rounds.
They're basically they feel the Rotosound roller wound ones feel the same as the Diodario half rounds. So that's why I always confuse the two. I have the Rotos on one, and I have the Diodarias on the other. I just don't remember which one's which.
You got like an old coin in here somewhere too, didn't?
Oh yeah, on most of my custom builds, I usually like to inlay a doubloon in the headstock. In this case, because of the way I did the headstock, I put the doubloon in the middle between the fingerboard and the pickup. People always ask me, "What's with the pirate coin?" I say, "Well, it's gonna sound corny, but anytime you buy a guitar custom built by D Guitars Miami, it's like owning a piece of treasure."
There you go. Why not? Yeah.
And that's what I do. That's what I say. That's why I always do that. Even on my, you can see it up on my red special too.
Well, you
Up
go.
on that one, it's got a doggy up at the top, a paw print instead of the usual doubloon.
Well, Doron, thanks for showing us your guitars, man. I really
my
appreciate
pleasure.
that.
They're
It's
really
is
amazing.
pretty, yeah. That's something else. And I'll bet if you get enough notice, maybe we can use one for one of your Rock the Cure events. You know?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, we could talk about that.
Absolutely.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's
You could
let's
even be a
move on over.
vendor at this show. I mean, that would be amazing. Bring some of your guitars on a table,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
you do custom orders. I'm sure there's some, the bands and stuff. They'd be interested in that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But
Now,
all you do is set up your Millennium Falcon table. You'll have 100 people at your table the whole night.
Yeah. I could bring my
Oh my God! You see that guitar?
Falcon bass and my Falcon guitar and have people go ape over it.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, let's make that one happen. Probably next year, though, right?
Well, the only reason why I took a year to do between this and the last show,
Right.
was because when I did my race in January, I had plantar fasciitis in my foot, and I almost didn't finish the race. It was a really hard push to get to the end of the race.
Wow.
So I took 6 months. Coast
Mm-hmm.
half marathon on the
Oh, so
East
you're back in
Coast.
action?
yeah I'm back in action. I'm
Well-
training right now, and I'm doing this event, and I might do one more event before I do the race. So.
All right. Well, let me back up and give you a proper introduction here, Mr. Michael Thomas,
Yeah.
from Rock the Cure.
Rock for the Cure.
Rock for the Cure. Tell us a little bit about that organization.
Well, the organization itself is Leukemia Lymphoma Society, and the way I got started with that is they have a thing called Team in Training, and what Team in Training does, it brings people together. They train. And what they do is they offer volunteers. They provide training. They have coaches. They have captains who help with the training. They have mentors that help with the fundraising. And all these people come together. They help you fundraise money. And depending on what event you do, depends on your minimum fundraising amount. But obviously, you can raise as much as you can.
Right.
My first event was 3 years ago. I did the Alaska Half Marathon in Anchorage, Alaska.
Wow.
And I raised just over $5,000.
Wow, nice.
And from then on, it was a mission. Right after that, I did the Disney Full San Diego Half Marathon. Then I did the Disney Full Marathon again, and then I just did the Disney Half Marathon recently.
Now, Michael,
So-
how did you get involved? How did you? What prompted
well,
you to get involved?
It's
with
funny
that?
because people ask me like, "So, do you have someone that has cancer, or do you have someone that passed away from
That would be
cancer?"
the
I
obvious.
said,
No?
not at all. Everyone's happy and healthy. I got a letter in the mail. They sent me a pamphlet in the mail. I looked at it. I was in a transitional period of my life. I was going back to school. I just actually got my first full-time teaching position, which is what I went to school for.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
By the way.
So I'm officially a teacher now. But at the time I was going through that transition, I wanted to better my life. I wanted to do good things. I got this letter in the mail, and I said, you know what? Let me go get some more information. So I went to the meeting. I talked to them. I signed up. And it was an incredible experience. I met some wonderful, amazing people who are still my friends.
Sure.
And I'll give you a little fun thing. When I was fundraising for the Anchorage half marathon, I was working overnight shifts at a gas station because I was in a transitional period, and a buddy of mine worked at the gas station, so I got the job there. I worked from like 11 at night to 7 in the morning, Mondays, Sunday night through Thursday night. Now. You meet some interesting people, and I don't know if you know a young lady by the name of Salt.
Salt.
She was the bassist for White Zombie.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, she's a local musician.
I know you're
she's
talking
local
about,
here. She has a band.
Oh, is that right?
Well, she wandered in my gas station, and we started
What
talking.
time was that?
It was the middle of the night. It was late, yeah.
Yeah.
And I just remember, like, I love you. And she's like, well, I had a little donation box. They let me put a donation box at the gas station, and I put a little letter with my picture on it, and people would be like,
cool.
"Oh, you're doing that? That's so awesome!" And 9 times out of 10, people would throw their change in my donation box after they pay for what they were getting. So I actually was able to raise a lot of money at the gas station. Well, Salt comes in, and we're talking, and she mentions that one of her friend's kid just was diagnosed with leukemia, and she was like, "Can I donate money to you?" I said, "Absolutely."
Yeah.
She gives me $140 in cash, and on her way out the door, she tells me what an awesome person I am. And then that made my entire night, and I still talk about it.
See, you wouldn't have done that if you weren't working at the gas station.
There's a woman who I used to enjoy musically and have a huge crush on come in and tell me I'm awesome.
Yeah, in the middle of the night at a gas station too.
Yeah.
Who'd have thunk that?
Yeah. Well, and the way I got involved with Rock for the Cure. When I just signed up for team and training. I would just started. I was excited. Very good friend of mine, Dan Jackson, who does all my flyers. Any flyer you've seen for Rock Figure, he designed them. Amazing individual. Him and another friend of mine, Damian Figler, who's a local comedian. Along with a young lady named Darlene Kronk, they started some kind of a promotion company, and they were doing local shows, mostly like punk rock, hardcore stuff.
Sure. And
it was this little tiny hole-in-the-wall bar, and Dan's like, "Why don't you come out and hang out with us? We're doing a show." I said, "Yeah, cool." So I went out, and we're all hanging out, and I didn't know Darlene at the time. I'd never met her before. I just knew my friend Dan and Damien, and I was explaining to them, "Oh my God, I'm doing this team and training thing. It's raising money for Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. I'm so excited. I'm quitting smoking. I'm gonna get in shape and yada yada yada." Well, Darlene walks up to me later on and goes, "I just want you to know that I'm a leukemia survivor."
Wow.
And I go, "Really?" And she goes, "Yeah, and I just want you to know that I think what you're doing is amazing, and I wanted to thank you." And I said, "Well, I appreciate that. I don't really see myself as a hero type, but I'm just doing something that I enjoy. It makes me feel good and meeting a lot of cool people." Yeah. And I said, "This is cool what you guys do. Maybe we could turn it into a fundraising event." She goes, "Absolutely. I'm totally on board. I'm going to help you out." And we're still friends this day. So we did it at that little hole-in-the-wall bar. She got 6 bands to commit for free. Every band I've done has donated their time to this event, which is truly amazing, because it's like a double-edged sword. It helps a really good cause, but it also promotes local music, local businesses.
That's what I like.
And I love that about it. Well, we called that first event Mosh for the Cure. And I actually have a T-shirt. We had T-shirts made. We had 6 bands. We didn't charge a cover. And we had someone donated a bunch of stuff we could raffle. So
when was this now? Your first one?
Yeah, this is my first one. It was in 2012. I think it was March of 2012. And we raised about $250 with just donations and raffle. And that was it. And that's all we took. So I learned a lot from that, putting that together, because Darlene primarily helped me coordinate the whole thing. So then I decided I was going to do it on my own. I had ideas. I was going to, go a little farther, push the envelope, try to get better prizes, try to. and we were actually going to do it here on the Strip in Hollywood, but some kind of scheduling conflict. I don't want to get into it too much.
Right.
But there was a scheduling conflict. Let's just say scheduling conflict, and my date was given away to somebody else. At 2 weeks, it was like it was about 2 to 3 weeks before the show. And I found this out because I went online and I went on their webpage and I saw another band there, and then let's just say it was a scheduling conflict. So
be nice about it.
I'm freaking out now. I'm at the point. I have this whole show put together. I had vendors. I had some really cool vendors.
No place to go.
And I had bands. And actually Rico, he was with the band called the Cadillac Creeps.
Oh yeah.
And the Cadillac the Cadillac Creeps were going to be a part of it. And I'm calling people. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. And luckily, Rico's drummer, who's Johnny Creep, is a very good friend of mine now. Love the guy to death. His brother-in-law, who's a very good friend of mine, before I even when I had met the band, I realized he was involved with them. His sister's actually married to the drummer, and he was promoting them and managing them for a little while. So he had called me up before that happened and had mentioned to me there was a place called Mugshots, which is now Amira's Irish pub.
Right.
And he said, yeah, I talked to the owner and they're interested in doing a show. So she wanted me to give you the number and ask if you could call her and talk to her about putting on an event there. So I was actually in the gym when everything went down. So I was actually sitting on a machine doing my workout. So I pull out my phone on my bag and I call her. I call her and I said, look, I don't have a venue now. I got pushed out of my venue. This is the date that I have for the show. I don't know if you have anything going on that night, or if maybe you can give me another night. But I have no other person to call, and I have no idea what I'm going to do. So she called me back within 5 minutes and said, "Oh yeah, well, I think I have a band plan tonight. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to reschedule them, and I'm going to give you the date."
Yay!
Never even talked to her before that day, and she just gave me the show, and they were wonderful. They're wonderful, wonderful people.
Let's plug them though. Now that's the O'Meara's.
Well, this was the previous owners that they actually changed ownership now. But it was her name was Barbara Willis and her husband Virgil, and they're great people. Actually, Virgil knows my father, as he used to go in there way back in the day. But they're great, wonderful people. And they have helped me out so much to get this show to where it is. Without them, it wouldn't be where it is at.
So you've been doing it at the same place then?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. I mean, I haven't, except for the very first show, it's always been there. And when they switched hands, the new owner, Bill Amir, actually it's Bill McDonald, but I call him Bill Amiras because that's what he named it. And he's been just as great. Continuing, he took the torch and continued to help me. They get the beer vendors to make posters for the show. I got like posters of my show, and I have this one poster that everybody had signed from one of the original Rock for the Cure show. But we get all kinds of vendors, all kinds of bands, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful show. Yeah. We've been on internet radio. We had this show on internet radio, streamed live. Well, it was streamed live, but then something happened with the music feed, so it was just streamed.
We never have that kind of problem here on SoFlowRadio.com.
They plugged it into the board, and the first band it was perfectly fine, and then I don't know what happened, but something happened, and then they ended up just interviewing the bands and keeping it on the show. It wasn't a video feed; it was just a sound feed, and. Yeah, I mean, it's been truly amazing. Like all the people that have been involved. There's a. Have you ever heard of Critical Recordings?
Nope, I haven't.
Studio.
Yeah.
They're in
Anthony
Miami.
has.
Yeah, they're in Miami, and one show they donated a $450 gift certificate for a demo recording at their studio.
That's prize.
Yeah, it was really nice. It was funny. I had to drive there and have my GPS going, and I made a left-hand turn, and it goes, "You have arrived at your destination." And I'm not really good with navigating Miami too well because I don't go too often.
Yeah,
and I had no idea where I was. I'm like, I'm in the middle of an intersection. This is not what I need to be. Luckily, there were some numbers on some buildings. I actually found out where it was. Really nice recording studio, by the way. But yeah, just the people involved. I mean, it's been amazing.
Well, that's the one thing I think about this area. Well, I don't know, maybe not this area, but musicians, people in the arts, you offer them a chance to give back to the community, to be involved in something like that, and they jump at the chance.
It's wonderful. I mean, we've gotten some really cool things to give away.
Yeah.
I have a friend, she hooked me up with Ed Hardy purses and belts, and like the soaps. They're handmade custom soaps, but they're very unique because his labels he uses usually these parody movie quotes like from all different things.
Is that for this show coming up here?
Yeah, he's sending me some soap for this show. He used to be local. He moved away, so he's shipping me the soap now. But he used to make these really awesome gift baskets. He actually gave me a stack of their vinyl records that have been melted into bowls, and that's what he used to make my gift bags. But then he gave me a stack of them and said, "Well, here, you can make gift bags yourself and whatnot."
I wonder if he makes soap the same way they did in Fight Club.
I don't know for sure, but some of it. But he has beer scented soap and vegan soap.
Beer scented soap. I thought that's what you like to wash that off.
Vegan soap. What does it smell like? Tofu?
I'm not sure. I never actually used the soaps myself. I give it all away. But it's all professional. It's they're labeled, they're wrapped. And there's all. I mean, he has if you chase Billy Joe Soaper, it's like a Flamingo and Gator soap. I don't know if he changed the name because he moved, but if you check it out, he's got some really awesome varieties of soaps.
And who else now? When is this? When is your next show coming up?
Saturday, August 29th.
Next weekend.
A week from this coming Saturday. Yes.
Yes, and it's going to be at the same place at.
Omir's Irish Pub in Margate. Mm-hmm. And like I said, we have 4 bands. We have Blast, which is a young group. They seem really promising. They're going to open the show. Then we have China Doll.
Where are they from? Blast.
They're here. They're local. They're all local groups. Yeah. In fact, when I did the interview at Channel 10, they were featured. They showed up and played, and their parents were with them. So they're
so you're talking really young.
Some of them are very young, but they're very talented.
Wow.
And they're
going to
They're going to do some classic rock covers and
that's cool.
Some stuff like that.
I kind of like, Doron, when you get these young kids and they want to play all these classic rock stuff from the 70s. That's kind of
called
cool.
parenting done right.
Yeah.
But they have a huge of mix of music, and they have a few originals.
Great.
And then we have China Doll, which is the local group. The Black Bats, which travel all over the place, but they're local, and I'm very good friends with Rico.
Yeah.
And everyone in the band they're just amazing people.
Yeah, great band.
Mm-hmm. And then there's this group. It's like I said, it's one of the vendors. It's her husband, and they play locally and they do covers and stuff. Mm-hmm. And they didn't really have a name. They're calling themselves Last Minute.
Sure.
Because I asked them, I said, look, I want to put you on the flyer, so I need, let me know what you're called. He's like, well, let me talk to my guy and let's see what it is. And it took him a couple of days. I said, look, it's now or never. If you don't give me a name by the end of the day, I gotta make the posters. And so he's like, we're going to call it Last Minute. I'm like, interesting. So, and like I said, my buddy Dan, who does my flyers, made up a little logo for them, and he's very talented.
So everybody donates their time, the people that run the sound and all that stuff too, huh?
Yeah, everything's donated. For the most part.
I've played at least a couple of those types of shows too.
That's great.
Cagney's.
Yeah.
Where they've had me do the Star Spangled Banner to open up the show more than a couple times.
Well, Richard Pierce has done a Johnny Cash tribute on a couple of my shows.
That's cool.
I've known him forever. I used to work at this coffee house in my early 20s, and he had a band called the Sea Monkeys.
I remember that name.
Yeah, they were awesome. And then he was the fill-in bassist for Marilyn Manson before they got huge. The Spooky Kids.
Yeah, Spooky Kids.
And his son is in the Lunch Money video, where the kid that's shaving his head. That's his son. His son's now a full-grown adult with kids of his own. But when he was young, he was in that because Richard actually has a really good friendship with. Manson and
Brian.
Brian Warner. I know he doesn't like it. When you call him Brian Warner.
Yeah. Oh, sorry,
anymore.
Brian.
Yeah. I know a bunch of people.
No offense, Brian.
Yeah. No, we didn't mean to call you Brian.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
So
I used to know him a little bit when I played with a band called Black Janet back in the 90s.
Well, he went to Western High School, and a lot of my friends have gone to West. I didn't go to Western High School, but a lot of my friends had gone there. My friend, her name is Sasha Andrade. She did his posters for the Spooky Kids, and a bunch of people used to beat him up, and stuff like that. I used to hear stories, and
that's a true rock and roll hero. You got to get beat up by the jocks.
So
man. Right?
That made that. Well, think about it. If no one beat him up and everyone liked him, he was popular, he'd probably be in a much different band.
That's true. Yeah, probably be in a jazz band.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, it sounds like you got things going well since I've seen you last.
It's amazing. I mean, I love doing this. I love it. It's a lot of stress, and right now it's probably one of the worst times for me to do this because I'm just setting up my classroom. I got a job. I'm a third grade teacher, and I'm setting up my classroom. I got parents coming tomorrow, and then my first day is on Monday. So I've literally been up at from like 6 a.m. till 1 a.m. every single day this week. I've spent like $500 on supplies for my classroom. I've just been meetings and the interviews and all kinds of stuff going on.
So how did you carve out like an hour to be here?
I left early and I hauled my butt over here. I made sure I got my room mostly done. So tomorrow I got to do a few touch-up things, but I'm pretty much ready to go.
Good. Well, I hope you get a couple more fans coming over. Hours of sleep. Yeah, that's good. But a couple more people coming out to your event.
It's worth it. I mean, like at the end of the day, it's worth it. And putting the word out, people showing up. I mean, because I've met bands who have heard of my show.
Yeah.
And the nice thing is that I'm 100% legit. All the money I raise goes to the fundraising. Everything I do, even the money I've spent on the guitars for the raffle, I never took that out of the money. That I just said, whatever, it's money that I'm donating to the cause. So you did. I don't take anything out of this. I just do it because I need to meet my minimum fundraising, and I tell you, it's a lot of fun, and I can reach my goals that I need to, but it also gets a lot of other people involved in it, and spreads the word. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing, and I love when bands tell me, "Oh yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah, it's a really good thing."
That's you, huh?
Everyone tells me it's awesome.
Well, congratulations. Thanks, man. So that's World Shaker, Michael Thomas, once again gracing our show, Rick Show on the Radio, for our anniversary show. Maybe we shouldn't have you a little bit sooner, maybe next time we'll give you, give like 6 months or so.
No. I have another person in Pompano who's interested in doing a show through one of my vendors who's been there a lot, Holly Dressen. She does Origami Owl, and she's awesome. She's one of the most amazing people. I love her to death. And one of her friends owns a place in Pompano who might be interested in doing the show. So I need to do
one before next year.
Yeah. I want to do it because like I said, I don't quite raise everything that I need to usually by the time I do these shows. So
give us the particulars one more time about the show coming up.
Saturday, August 29th. Starts at 8 p.m. It's at O'Meara's Irish Pub in Margate. Perfect. It's off 441 on Margate Boulevard.
All right.
They got a patio deck out front, and it's a $5 cover.
Mm-hmm.
Then we do raffle tickets for $1, and then we have a 50-50 raffle for $2. Half of it goes to the winner, and half of it goes to the charity.
All right.
Though we've had some generous souls that have won and just donated their half.
Well, good luck on that. I'm looking forward to that. Congratulations again. And just give us the name of the bands that are going to be performing again.
We got Blast, China Doll, The Black Bats, and Last Minute.
All right, then. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys, for being on the show today. Awesome. That'll be it for Rick's Show on the Radio. Next week, we got, my friend Jeffrey. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's coming back. He's coming back from Resurrection Drums there. And I think Mark Poise, who's actually currently touring and playing drums for Tyler Farr. Right now. They'll be on the show next week. But thank you, guys, and thanks for bringing all these guitars, Doron, man.
Thanks for having me, Rick.
Tell me about how can people get a hold of you one more time if they want one of your Millennium Falcons.
They can call me at 305-896-1811, or they can find me on Facebook. They can look up D Guitars Miami on Facebook. They can also send me an email at dguitarsmiami@yahoo.com. That's all one word. Thanks.
All right, man. Thanks for coming on the show, guys. And that's it for the show, and I guess we'll see you next week. Thanks, everybody. Rick's Show on the Radio. So cool.
You're listening to SoFloRadio.com.